Hey guys, welcome back to Fitz Fitness. I don't know. No, I'm not playing bagpipes. Look like bagpipes, right? No. Today's topic is how to avoid injuries on the power twister. Notice I have 3 different sizes. There's many more sizes out there. So what this video is specifically about, I've been getting a lot of emails and texts and comments asking me about how to avoid injuries and why I'm feeling this pain and that pain. And usually the key is making sure you've got the right power twister. Now, let's start. You got the very simple ones that they actually say baby power twister, which usually means for kids. Now, I have 3. The single one, the single power twister is a single spring power twister, which is very light, pretty easy. Now, what I'm going to do is try to explain to you the differences. With a light one, this is a little bit shorter, it's very easy. I mean, I can bend it starting with my wrist. So when the power twister is really easy and light, your wrist easily can start it, but you want to get used to letting your whole arm start. Because if you get used to doing it just with your wrist, you can start tweaking your elbow a little bit. Now, I've got this on because I deal with too many concentration curls. But if you do feel that your elbows are weak or sore, do indeed get an elbow brace just for the workout. Even if you're not in pain, it's good to have support if you feel your wrists or elbows are at risk. The power twister puts the most pressure on wrists and elbows if it's too strong. Now the single, remember the single you can push away. Single, I can almost do this completely straight if it's easy. And I'm about to do a workout pretty soon that is a blowout high rep with a lightweight one, so that if you buy one that's too light, don't get upset and throw it out the window. I'm doing a light power twister workout, which has an insane amount of repetitions ending with isometric holds. So remember, no power twister is useless if you know how to adjust either the distance from the body or how many reps you do and how far you go with the isometrics in combination with high reps. So the single spring. Now, I mentioned single spring because some ads you see will say 20, 40, 60, 80 kg. Those companies have determined what the amount of pressure is when you bend this. Now, the single spring, I don't really know, and I'm not gonna go broke trying to buy every power twister to figure out what it is. The ones you see me using lately is a double spring. Single spring, double spring. Double spring means what? Inside this black spring you see here is a smaller spring which doubles the tension. Single spring is, like I said, is only spring you have is the one you see on the outside. Much easier. These two now, obviously you see the difference in their length. Back up a little bit. Close to the same length, but a little bit lighter because when it's less tense, it doesn't have to be as wide. Now you get up to the ones where like, Fitz, I want to get a 60, 80 kg. No, I want to get the beast. I don't even know what the beast is. The beast looks like something came off the wheel of a train. The spring is humongous, and after the spring on the beast, and there's another one they call Python power twister. The spring almost goes from here to here, almost to the handles. Humongous spring. And when I'm watching the guys, and they finally got it bent. Okay, 1 repetition, very good. Hello, 1 repetition is not a workout. Then if they're going, it looks like the bar is possessed. 2 tenths. How do you know the bar is 2 tenths? If you feel like the bar is fighting you, the bar is too intense. Get a lighter bar. Now, unfortunately, they're not on sale in stores where you can compare, because years ago, so many people didn't know how to use the power twister that it just disappeared off the shelf because nobody was buying it. People would buy it, return it. I don't know what to do with this. Matter of fact, when I first got it, all I did was repetitions. I had no idea what else to do because I was so into weights and push-ups and everything else. As I got older, I said, wait a minute. There's a lot of things you can do with this thing, which is why I have so many workouts online now. Now I'm trying to bring this to you to the point to understand. Now comparing these, but I also want to answer how to avoid injury. Now, this is my double spring, one I just got. When you first buy it, it's pretty stiff. All of them are pretty stiff except the single spring, because that's pretty easy. Unless you've never done any exercise in your life, the single spring can still be hard. Now, I recommend if you've never done power twister, start with push-ups. I say that same thing for weights. Get your chest muscles activated first. Push-ups. Matter of fact, when you start doing power twister, don't give up push-ups, because that's a different way of working the same muscle group. So you want to stay active in both ways. Matter of fact, when I really got into the very first 10 of these, I was so into power twister. I was doing all those workouts, and I was just doing power twister every other day. Forget about push-ups. I just do power twister. I went to do a push-up challenge. It was almost like I had never done push-ups in my life. I was so embarrassed. I said, wait a minute, how can I not do push-ups if I've been doing power twister every day and every other day and all these reps? What's going on? Different way of using the same muscle group. So I suggest that a lot of times, sometimes if you do a push-up workout, those who lift weights, do a weight workout, I end up with a high reps of these on one workout. Another day, I might just do the power twister by itself. Another day, I might push-ups and power twister. See, you want to keep the push-ups and the bench press in range, because that's the pushing muscle group of the chest. Power twister is bending, it's hitting the same chest muscles, but in a different way. So you want to keep the push-ups or bench press motions pushing in range so that you don't get embarrassed like I did. So I had to go back immediately to just doing push-ups for a minute, regroup my ego, because my ego was on the floor. So I'm just trying to avoid you having that same problem. Now, so that leads me to my first point, injury of overworking the muscles. Now, when you do any of my videos, you always hear me say, listen to the body. Matter of fact, all of my workouts are the recommended safe version of what you should do. Now, of course, some of you say, well, I can do more than that. Okay, now this is what you do. If you finish any of my workouts and you still feel fresh, you go like, well, hey, I can do another set. Go for it. But if you start to feel that, like, well, I'm kind of feel a little twinge here. Oh, whoa, you feel what? Twinge, little tweak, little something, kind of feeling like it's kind of getting a little sharp pain. Listen to the body. Sharp pain will turn into pulled muscle, torn muscle, sprained joint. I mean, the body will tell you when you're doing too much. So those of you who are like, well, I want to do this every day. Do you do weights, the same workout every day? Now, if you do power twister every day, if you want to do that, I still recommend, if you do power twisters on one day, do the lower body another day, aerobics, boxing, something that I don't believe in doing the same muscle group, because even if you do push-ups, and say, what if I do push-ups on one day, the next day I do power twister? That's not resting the chest. Remember, growth takes place when your body is recovering, not when it's working out. So if you do a chest every day, when's the chest going to be able to recover? Not. Okay, so that's the first point. Do not do power twister every day. Okay, first point. All right, now I'm not gonna keep saying numbers, because I'll just keep listening, because I'm gonna forget which number I'm on, and you'll see on the screen where that's the number is on. So I'll just say, okay, never do it every day. Another one, don't get one that's too tense. Don't let your ego get you hurt. And what do I mean by that? I thought, because I've done almost 30 videos, this is number 30 at the time of this taping. I thought, since I've done 30 exercises, I've been doing this thing for 20 years, I'm just gonna start. I had this one since the 80s. I got this one probably in like the late 80s, almost 1990. Now, it's as big, it's also a double spring. There's a double spring as well, a little bit bigger, but because I've used it for so many years, it's still tense in the middle when I get to here, but I can bend it. See, even with my wrist, I'm not gonna try to do it, but my wrist will move it. But I still want to use my entire arm. But just because I can do that, that lets me know, oh, it's starting to loosen up a little bit. But that's where you can also get hurt. Do not bend. Next point. do not bend the power twister from your wrist. Now, this is the newer double spring. See, I don't know if you can tell the difference. I can barely move it with just my wrist. So I need your elbows here. Now, when it's brand new, it's still stiff. Even when this was stiff. Now, when it's brand new, you have to kind of go downward. See, I'm going downward to bend it, not horizontal to bend it. If your elbows are here, if it's still really stiff, I would suggest bring your elbows up, bend it toward your body, and as you come into a bend, it goes straight, okay? Because as it loosens up, it'll eventually let you bend it a little bit easier the more you work out with it. It's gonna stay hard for a good number of years because these things do not get weak fast, even if you're doing high reps. Now, that was the next point I just said. What? Make sure you use your elbows with the wrist, not just the wrist. You'll feel that automatically if you use the technique on any power twister that is too intense. So, mixed with that point I just said, I'll say that again. Don't let your ego get you hurt. Pick the power twister that's perfect for you. Now, of course, because like I said, it's online, I'm recommending 40 kg or double spring as your starting point if you're pretty strong. Because as long as I've been doing this, and it's brand new, about two months at the time of this taping, well, it's still got some pretty good stiffness in it. That's why I did a workout saying, wait a minute, if somebody buys a brand new double spring, they're not going to be able to do a lot of my high rep stuff that my other double spring allows me to do. Now this double spring, because it's old, is easier to bend than this, but it's still much heavier than the single spring. So when I bend this, and you see a mini mind on the isometrics or whatever, it's still pretty tense. It gives me a nice burn because I can always what? Farther I push it away from my body, that burn still returns to the chest. So that's what I want you to remember, that. Don't let your ego get you in trouble. Okay, now, next point. When you are new, you're excited, and you got the power twister, and it's kind of what I said about with a few of my other points. You get so excited that you want to do everything. You want to do all 30 workouts in one day. Now, the point is, your body, the first time you do it, if you're fairly strong, it'll allow you to do quite a few workouts. But the next day is payback time, and you're gonna be in traction and writing me, Fitz, hey, I can't move. I tore something. What happened to me? Because you didn't what? Listen to the body. Say it with me. Listen to the body. One more time. Listen to the body. Okay, good. Got it? Key point. Most of my injuries as a young man in sports was because I could do one more set. That one more set is when I pulled the muscle, because the body was already saying, we're done. No, I can do one more. Most of the time I was trying to show off, and when I was trying to show off, I automatically pulled something. Then you can't do anything for months waiting for the muscle to heal. That's why I'm saying keep the ego in check. Now, if you're excited, if you buy this thing the first time, don't get discouraged. Next point, don't get discouraged. I had a few people who just bought one and said, man, I thought I was strong until I tried to bend this. I could barely bend it. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. First, when these are brand new, they've never been bent before, so you're the first one to bring it in. So give yourself time. Now, if, like I said, now if you're doing like the people in the beast, return it. You'll never bend that without hurting yourself. I'm just talking about, you might have to initially, I use a trick where when it's really stiff, you kind of use your stomach a little bit. You kind of push against your stomach and bend it that way. Or, now one thing we haven't talked about yet, this is not injury related. This is actually another point. All of those who've been doing this workout for a long time, you can take all 29 of my workouts and have an incredibly different experience if you do the exact same workout sitting down. Remember, all of my workouts, 1 through 29, I'm standing up. And it's the same difference as you standing doing curls, and then when you sit down and you do alternate curls, you say, why does it feel heavier? Because your legs are giving you a lot of energy and support. Once you sit down, you take away the leg energy, all of a sudden the twist is going to feel a lot more intense. You go, wait a minute, why is it so heavy? Because once you take your legs away, now you're sitting down, you have a whole new journey to feel in your workout. So remember that. Those of you who've been doing other workouts, you want to just do another new abuse choice in your workout, sit down and do the same workout that you've been doing for a while, and you'll get another incredible burn. Now, back to if you couldn't bend it for the first time. Like I said, do not give up. Main point, do not give up. I would say if you can kind of bend it, and you feel that it's going to slowly break in, you get a little bit stronger each day, keep it. Don't return it unless after a week it's still in the same condition. It's still not moving after a week. Hello, too intense. And that's what happened to me, what I was just about to say before, when I bought the 60 kg. Because I was so glad to see power twisters back on sale on Amazon, eBay. Wow, look at all these power twisters. 60 kg, 80 kg. What is a double spring? I have to this day not known what the tension is for a double spring. So if any of you who have both a double spring and a 40 kg can tell me the difference, because these things are $30, $40 a pop. And if I'm getting a good workout, I'm not going to buy a 40 kg and a double spring just to see, well, which one's stronger. I'm just saying, from when people who've told me how good the 40 kg feels on my workouts, and I'm using a double spring and it feels good as a good burn and strength builder, then that's what I'm saying start with. Always remember, it will tell you, your body will tell you whether you need to return it. Now, the best case scenario is really have a single spring and a double spring. Why the single spring? Well, some other positions I'll be getting into in the light power twister workout is, of course, everybody knows this one's easy. Now, when you go up, go down, you go up here above your head, you're looking up. Now I'm looking up at it. It's over my head. There's a little bit more lats involved, but above your head is the upper chest, but it's out of position for where you get the most strength from that bend. And you can hurt yourself trying to do the 45-degree above your head right here. It's almost like right at my forehead height, and I'm looking at it here. So when it's that high, I want it to be a little bit lighter. Now, when it's that high, it's just like doing other exercises in a different position. Level is main chest all, but then once you take it above, it's just like an incline press. Your chest feels a little weaker if you don't work all three angles of your chest muscles. The middle chest is the strongest, where you usually do push-ups. If you just bench press and don't do declines or inclines, then just the chest itself will be strong, but not strong in all three sections. That's why if you do it up, now of course the one down, now remember when you're going down, next point, when you're bending the bar down, do not try to bend it only with your wrist. Major injury can happen in your wrist. Because remember now, this is light, but I can do it with this. See, because I'm just doing it with my wrist because it's light. With a big one, you use your arms, and a lot of times I kind of put my arm kind of on the end, so that when I bring my elbows, get your lats out, and bring it in to here, let your lats and your arms work together. It's not all wrist. As I'm pushing, my elbows are coming up, my elbows up here. So then I'm going from here, my arms are level, elbows in line, arms parallel to the floor, and then I come back down. So it's one motion together, not just the wrist. Because that wrist, like I said, with the single spring, if you've been doing it a while, it's pretty easy. But double spring or heavier, major injury is waiting for you for the downward bend if you do not use your entire arms to do that. Okay, got that point. Other point is rest period. Now most of mine, I'm giving a 2-minute rest period for most of the really heavy stuff, because remember, if you got a pretty tense bar, well, you're getting a good burn compared to doing weights, high rep, maybe 15-20 reps. So give yourself a full 2 minutes. Now, when we get to the workout where I'm doing the single spring and we're doing 40 or 50 reps and only resting for a minute, that's to make up for the fact that the spring is too easy. If your power twister is too easy and you can easily do 50 reps, then cut your rest period to 1 minute and then go back to another 50. The one I'm going to be doing in the next statement coming up, 31, will be 50 here, up, 50 there, upside down, 50, then bring it back straight, isometric. So basically you're doing 150 reps, ending with an isometric hold for about 30 seconds to a minute, however you feel, at the end of it. And that's one set. So that's how I'm telling you, you can get a good workout if you have the power twister that you think is too light or too easy. You can always do something with a power twister, unless it's so easy that you can do 1,000 reps and still not sweat. Well, hey, it's too easy, way too easy. Okay, so I'm just trying to share in this video some of the main points to avoid injury. You rest day, like I said before. Do not do it every day. Give yourself, look at it just like weights. If you do power twister one day, legs another day, aerobics the next day, come back to power twister. Sometimes I do power twister and upper body. Power twister works really well if you're doing curls, and as a rest between the curls, do a set of isometric hold for like 30 seconds to a minute in between your curls. And that's just like a nice upper body. If you're working all the upper body all at once, that's just a nice little burn you'll feel where you do your curls and then you rest about 15 seconds, do your isometric hold, and then you rest for 2 minutes. You still get your 2-minute rest in, you're just following curls, chest, rest. Curls, chest, rest. So I'm just showing you these are other ways you can play around with how you make the power twister fit into other workouts to keep it interesting for yourself and safe for yourself. The key word is keeping everything safe, because we don't want you to pull anything, hurt anything, sprain, tear. Listen to the body. The body will always warn you before any major injury starts. So if you hear that whole thing, no pain, no gain. Oh, excuse me. No soreness, no gain. If you're sore, that means you had a good workout. If you're feeling sharp pains, stabbing pains, pulling pains, yanking pains, stop immediately. That's something about to tear. Yanking could be a spasm about to start. A spasm could be fold you over for a good number of minutes in serious pain. So always listen to those warning signs when you're starting to feel fatigue, because that's the key to avoid injury. Stop and once you feel that, stop for the day. Don't come back and say, I think I'm ready now, I'll go back. No. Once you feel any kind of sharp pain, tear, little things, a little hinge in your muscles, something doesn't feel right, stop. Because that something doesn't feel right means the body's saying, well, I don't know how many more of these we can do. Listen to that. If you don't listen to that, take my word. I'm telling you, as God is my witness, listen to the body, because you will avoid injury every time. All right. So anyway, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Tips for the Power Twister: How to Avoid Injuries. I'm trying to think of I'm answering some of the main ones you've been sending me on the comments on YouTube. But if you have any other things I did not cover that are regarding injury, or how do you avoid this or that, please feel free to send the comments to me. And if I haven't already answered it, this is I think my third explanation tips on power twister. But if I hadn't covered your question in those 3 parts, I'll make another part, because I want to make sure I cover your question so that others who have the same question will get the answer at the same time. All right. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Body by Fitness. More safety tips, how to avoid injury on the power twister. My name is Fitz Houston. I'll see you next time, because what? Remember, Fitz Fitness is not just a workout, but a what? Way of life.